Miss Rathke. I miss you very, very much, and I just wanted to come on for my very first YouTube video. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. I know that a lot of us might be feeling nervous or scared, and I want you guys to remember that that's okay. Always remember that our family is together even when we are apart, and you can always talk to mom or dad or grandma or your aunt if you start feeling scared or nervous about everything that you're hearing on TV. And you can always talk to Miss Rathke too through the internet or through Class Dojo. So with that said, just remember, always talk about how you're feeling with your parents. And today I want to do something kind of silly. I've never done this before, but hopefully it sounds okay. So let's giggle a little bit and read the true story of the Three Little Pigs. This is a favorite book in our class. We actually read it right before spring break, so I thought it'd be really fun for us to read today. Thanks to my aunt on supplying the book, because I wasn't allowed to go back in my classroom to grab things, so she was able to supply me with a bunch of books that I'm going to read for you guys throughout the week. So this is the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do, but I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody's ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. Now, I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but this is all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think that you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, this whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is just about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny, and I had a terrible sneeze and cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He built his whole house out of straw. I mean, can y'all believe it? Who in his right mind would build his house out of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into somebody else's house, so I called, "Hey, little pig, are you in there?" But no answer. I was just about to go home without my cup of sugar from my dear old granny's birthday cake, and that's when my nose, it started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on, and I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you know what? That whole straw house fell down, and right in the middle of that pile of straw was the first little pig. He was dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner just lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. You could think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. You wouldn't leave it, would you? I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his whole house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you up in there?" And he yelled back, "Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great big sneeze. Achoo! And you're not gonna believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig. He was dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know food will spoil if you leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do, and I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full. My cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny birthday cake, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and the second little pig's big brother. He must have been what they call the brains of the family, because he built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. There was no answer. I called Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you up in there? And do you know what that rude little poor granny's back? He said, get up out of here, Wolf. Don't you bother me again. Talk about being impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me just one little cup from my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. And you know what that third little pig yelled back? He said, your old granny can sit up on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real big old scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs that I had for dinner, and they figured a crazy guy going around borrowing cups of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the whole story with all that huff and puff, and I'm gonna blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, y'all. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? All right, that's the end of our book. Check back in tomorrow or on Monday, and I will have a new book for you uploaded with questions and things that you guys can work on and answer down in the comments, if I'm doing this right like a YouTuber. So yeah, thanks again and check back in. I miss you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.